Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today, I'm seeing the EMOJI movie. Oh, Sony. Sony. How desperate you have become recently. The EMOJI movie. You know, I'm sure a lot of other people are going into this extremely depressed, fearful of humanity and its mistakes. The fact that somebody would try to make a movie entirely about fucking emojis, which for those of you who miraculously don't know what those are, they're the little faces or images that you can put in your texts or your tweets to make them look more colorful. They're making a movie about that. So, they might as well make the app movie. Oh god, just imagine the camera app is feeling alone, and it goes on an adventure with the Google app and the Skype app, who are the only ones that understand it. Oh god, that's coming out soon, isn't it? Oh, Jesus Christ. But you know what? I'm actually a lot less depressed than I normally would be. I mean, with the Angry Birds movie, everyone's okay with it. And you know what? Angry Birds, whatever. But with this movie, fucking Christ, every time I look on Twitter and Regal Movies is posting something about it, which they have to, it's their job, or anytime anyone makes a post about the EMOJI movie, fucking almost everyone in the comments is saying something about how stupid and terrible it looks. That's great. Because normally, even with movies that are pretty stupid, even with like The Boss Baby, you'll find a ton of people who are like, "Oh, that looks so cute, I'm bringing my kid to see that." Or with The Secret Life of Pets, same kind of thing, you know. There's a whole bunch of people who are just like, "Oh, that looks so nice." Like grandmas and stuff, and I'm bringing all my 20 kids to see that. But with this movie, what I am appreciating is what is apparently the widespread cultural rejection of this film. We have hope, people. We have hope. So now to get to the movie itself, just from appearances, I think I saw the trailer, I don't know. But just from like how it's presenting itself, oh yeah, I did see the trailer. It looks like a ripoff of Wreck-It Ralph and a little bit of Inside Out. I mean, stylistically wise, it is like a complete ripoff of Wreck-It Ralph. Like, I think you could probably sue for that. Like, I think in the trailer they were showing like this little girl looking over her phone, and we were seeing like the perspective of apps inside the phone, and it looks exactly like the perspective of the video game characters inside the game machine looking at someone in Wreck-It Ralph. Like, it looks exactly like that. Jesus Christ. But yeah, apparently they're attempting a similar thing, and there's probably some sort of weird system of how emojis come up. And there's this one emoji who feels left out. I think it's like the meh emoji. And he goes on an adventure to find himself and his place in the list of cute faces you send to your friends in text. Oh, God. And there's something else I want to address before I go off and see this piece of shit. The design. I know I mentioned in Angry Birds, the Angry Birds movie, that it weirded me out that the characters had legs. That the Angry Birds had legs, because they don't have legs. But in retrospect, it weirded me out, but it didn't really detract. Like it was still weird, but it's only weird so far as you keep having the image of like the original stuck in your head. If you don't, it sort of starts to make sense. With these emojis, they are literally fucking yellow beach balls with string cheese for arms and legs. They look gross. That is the only way to put it. These things look disgusting. I don't know who approved this design. I bet you anything there's going to be emoji movie emojis, where you'll have like little emojis that are characters from the movie. Maybe they'll make a movie about those someday. I don't know. But yeah, they just look bad. It's the only way to put them. I'm not sure how you'd like humanize an emoji, but this way looks terrible. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm thinking it's just gonna be basically cookie cutter Wreck-It Ralph kind of plot. I feel alone. Let's go on an adventure to other apps or something where emojis don't normally go. And then let's make a bunch of terrible jokes because we're Sony. Like, did you see the trailer? Oh god. Every joke made in that fell flat. I was in a theater of people watching that. Yeah, I remember now. Nobody laughed at any part in that trailer, and there were several jokes they put in there. Nobody laughed. Humanity is still going in a decent direction. That's all I can say, man. We are still a very long ways away from Ass, the movie from Idiocracy. This movie has proved it that we might be heading that direction, but we're not there yet. So yeah, let's actually see it now. And I'm back. So, since there isn't actually going to be that much to say about this movie, I'm instead going to tell you some statistics that I found out. You see, the movie was really boring, and I knew it would be, so I decided to just jot down some things I noticed in the theater. Things that were kind of interesting here. So, I was in one of the larger theaters on my, one of the largest rooms in my cinema complex, right? It's what normally goes to movies in their first week. Normally first week, this kind of showing that I saw, it would have round about 50 people-ish. Doesn't really matter what the movie is, like, as long as it's first week, most of the time, and it's on that side, around 50 people. There was, I counted, a total of 8 adults and 9 kids in the whole theater. In order to basically judge how society is, I suppose, in regards to this movie, like the few people that showed up, I wanted to see how many times they laughed. This movie is allegedly a comedy, so I wanted to count how many times somebody laughed at something. And this is an individual laugh, so it could be from anyone at any time. If a grandma laughed 100 times, there were 100 laughs during the movie. So I counted. And the results are, I've separated them into 3 categories. There was 4 chuckles, so that would be... I define chuckle as a short laugh where you don't quite open your mouth all the way, or maybe it's closed. And it's more like a reaction to like a quick quip or something, not really a full-on laugh per se. It's more like a subsection. 2 Hes. That's just the short that's how many of those happened, and 1. I tell you, 1 actual laugh in the whole movie. Want to guess when the very first of these actually happened? The first one was a chuckle. 30 minutes into the movie. There was countless comedic moments in between the very beginning of the film to the 30-minute mark. But throughout that time, not a single laugh was heard. Do I actually have to review the movie at this point? I just have to state statistical facts that I noticed, and you've already got an idea of what the movie's like. It's kind of amazing. In case you're curious, this particular comedic moment, it didn't even make much sense, but essentially the high five character, they were at the border of like the message app, because they're doing the Wreck-It Ralph thing. This movie plagiarizes from Wreck-It Ralph to like the even more than I thought it did. Like honestly, you could probably sue, but yeah, they're venturing to the edge of the Messenger app, and when the high five character goes through, he pretends like a monster's attacking him because there's like a dragon biting his finger, but turns out no, it's just finger puppets that I got. I don't know where he got those, because like back there it's just like the wallpaper, and he mentioned like there's nothing back there, but somehow he pulls them out through the wall and puts them back into the wall somehow. The movie doesn't make any sense. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, that was the only one. As for me, I never actually laughed. The closest I got that might have elicited something, almost. The only point in the movie where I felt some sort of comedic point, even slightly, was when they were showing like they had like this room filled with unused emojis with like the zucchini for some reason. The zucchini is actually used pretty often, as far as I can tell. Ironically, normally, but it is used. But yeah, a room full of unused emojis, and one of them is an homage to Revenge of the Nerds. I'm doing a horrible impression, but most of you can kind of guess what I mean. Like he does that, and I don't know. I thought that was a little funny. That's it. Hour-and-a-half movie. That is it. You know what? I think, despite how bad the movie is, I think I'm gonna go kind of easy on the filmmakers here. It's quite honestly... Come on. What did you expect? It's the EMOJI movie. I'm pretty sure, aside from maybe the high-level producers, there was probably nobody involved in this project, actors, directors, writers, who actually thought that this would be good. And who, after seeing it for the first time, actually thought that it was good. I highly doubt it. When you sign on to something called the EMOJI movie, you are just doing it for the money. And you know what? If a Sony executive came up to me and said, "Hey Glenn, I'll give you $2 million to help us make the EMOJI movie," I'd say yes. I'd say yes pretty quickly, too. I wouldn't even have to think about it. $2 million? Yes, I would like to do that. So can you really blame him? So what should I say about the movie, then? Well, let's get more into how much it rips off Wreck-It Ralph, because that is like a point where, damn, I can't believe they get away with it. Because they actually, believe it or not, they rip it off to a point where the movie actually makes a lot less sense in its own, like, as far as reality works. They rip off the ticking clock element of the game machine being unplugged if they don't fix the glitch soon. And Yeah, literally, they not only that, they also rip off the fact that there's a glitch. The main character, our meh character, is considered a malfunction, and they have to fix him. But it turns out his malfunction is extremely useful to the character, to the real-life boy at the end. In the stupidest scene I've ever seen, but yeah, they rip off that part. The part that doesn't make sense is that the kid is going to reset his game machine, which in this case actually means he books a Apple Genius appointment. They don't actually call it Apple, but like that's essentially what it's booking, to get his phone wiped. Because, like, here's the thing, like during their exploits they accidentally turn on like dance apps and stuff and play really embarrassing things in class. And this kid, instead of like turning the volume on his phone off or just turning his phone off entirely, decides instead to leave it on at full volume and get it wiped at the Apple Genius store later on in the day. Alright. You know, granted, I haven't owned a smartphone for very long, but I really doubt you have to take it to like a computer store in order to like wipe out and reinstall reinstall everything. Also, isn't that a little extreme considering this started from like a weird emoji? Like literally the three things that happen. It sends a weird emoji when he planned to send the meh emoji. And of course the use of the meh emoji in this case was actually extremely inappropriate, but whatever. Yeah, it sent a weird emoji. Fuck me, it's cursed. It starts playing Candy Crush for some reason. And it starts playing some Dance Dance Revolution ripoff for some reason. And, well, yeah, that's embarrassing. Oh, and it plays Spotify. Yeah. Jeez. You've gotten one of those nasty viruses, I guess. God. The degree to which this movie doesn't understand technology, doesn't understand kids and teenagers, is incredibly embarrassing. I'm gonna spoil the ending of the movie, just because nobody's gonna see this. If you're planning on seeing this, well, you're gonna get it spoiled anyway. The ending of this movie, because of course our main character has to somehow influence the real world in a positive way. So as the thing's getting erased, he decides to because he is an emoji that can change his face, he decides to put in a message app the best emoji ever, the most complex emoji. So it's emoji that changes faces to show that he is very dynamic. And then he sends it over to this girl he likes, who happens to be in the store for some reason, just kind of hanging with her friends. That's what you do, right? You go to the Apple Genius store and just kind of hang out. But yeah, he sends it to her, and then she's like, "Wow, this is a great emoji. I had no idea you were so complicated." And I swear to God, you could almost hear the voice actress dying on the inside when she said that. You could almost see the animators animating this scene going, "Oh my God, what have I done with my life? I spent 4 years getting a degree to work on animation." I'm like, nobody does that. They don't make like a huge joke about it or anything either. No, this is just how kids are, right? They fall in love over emoji usage. Not even like a sequence, just like one really cool emoji sent randomly out of nowhere with no other context. Jesus Christ. But as I said, it's hard to blame the filmmakers when you realize the people on top in Sony are kind of fucking crazy. And I'm almost certain that most of the stupid shit in this movie was forced in there by the producers based on their hackneyed ideas of what their audience wants. One of the few good things that happened when Kim Jong-un hacked Sony's web servers and got all their information is we got to see some of the personal emails between the Sony execs, like, and they're just fucking insane. There's no other way to put it. Like, some of their messages about, like, the Amazing Spider-Man series and what they plan to do with Peter Parker. It's exactly the kind of shit you see in the Emoji movie. Just like, well, we want him to be a more humble brag type, because that's what the kids are nowadays. That's what they're into. Like, Jesus Christ. But you know what? In the end, it's their money. Sony has been losing a lot of money recently, and they still don't seem to understand why. So, guess all you can do there is just not watch the movie. Just be thankful, I suppose, that this is not Spider-Man or something more important this time. It's just fucking emojis. Decades in the future, children will look back on this and say, "What the fuck, Mom and Dad?" And we'll say, things like that happen sometimes. And it'll be a great story. But yeah, for now it is... Yeah, I hope it's not surprising to you, but you should probably not watch it. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching a Dyer-Situation.